and welcome to your summary and your project organization day. So today, you should not be learning anything new. You're taking the critical pieces of your research and you are putting them on a page so that you know what needs to eventually get on your final unit project for periodicity. So go ahead, flip to task 8. And what I'm going to do is not walk you through it because you each have your own element. I'm going to give you some page numbers and some places for reference. Now, the first question is an opinion. It says, why is learning about blank important? Blank being your toxin. And you really got to know what your toxin is by now. What I would actually recommend is leave it, and do it last. All right. So, doing that last. Summarizing, and it tells you you are summarizing task 3. How is blank chemically similar to blank? And actually, good thing we're doing a video. This is a typo. You are actually summarizing task 5, and you are explaining how your element, how your toxin is similar to your mimic. So, for task 5, this is what you've got on page 14. You're looking at what you highlighted. But you've also summarized this again. You summarized page 14 on page 16. And this would be question number 1 on page 16. So you've got these 2 resources to look at for explaining how your toxin is similar to your biologic. You do need 3 sentences, so I would number that. Full, complete sentences that can stand alone. If I were you, I would go ahead, pause the video now, and go fill out this section using these notes and make sure you make that correction. Okay, so the next one, I'm going to actually kind of talk through this a little bit more. So the question is, why is their chemical similarity important? So you are explaining the premise of the toxic mimic here. So what you are going to be looking at is page 5, because this is where I introduce the idea of a biological mimic. And explaining why it is important. So talk through what happens in the body when a toxin looks like a substance that is supposed to be there. Now, it doesn't have to be super in depth, 2 sentences, but get the idea across looking at those notes we did on page 5 at the beginning of the unit. Okay, so again, I would recommend go ahead, pause the video, go ahead and fill that. All right. Now, sorry about this, guys. A lot of our page numbers have been, a lot of the things have been reordered. So, summarizing task 6. How are individuals exposed to blank? Well, again, this would be your toxin. And on task 6, we've got notes on page 15. You've got research on page 16. And this would be questions 2 through 4. But you've also already done the summary on page 7. So, to summarize, the more you summarize, the more likely something is to end up in your own words. 3 sentences. How is somebody exposed to toxin? Now, make sure you were looking at toxic levels. Not just how is somebody exposed to trace amounts. How is somebody exposed to toxic levels or poisonous levels of your toxin? And then finally, you are going to be summarizing the symptoms page, which is the last lesson we did. This is task 7. What are the symptoms of toxin exposure? 3 sentences. And this is all on one page. So we've got a list on page 19 as well as a summary paragraph. Now, you guys were instructed to find like 12 symptoms. You don't have to narrow it down to 3 symptoms. You can group them like we did with the color coding. So if I was doing lead, I could say lead causes neurological problems such as developmental delay and memory issues. 2 symptoms, 1 bullet point. So go ahead, fill this page out today. Get your summary nice and organized. And remember, the better you do on this, the easier your poster is. Because eventually, all you've got to do is put this in a user friendly format on your workday.